I'm like Couchon, and I'm not a professional chef. I mean, I can't even boil water. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the finished product. So take a seat, join me, and just eat it. This is grain, this is hops. These are two key ingredients in something we all love. Well, at least most of us. It's called beer. Yeah, this is how it starts. We're at City Steam in downtown Hartford. They brew their own beer and we're gonna find out all about it today. Not only that, this beer is used in cooking some delicious food as well. We're gonna see that too. Let's go check it out.
Saw that City Steam was nearby and checked it out and fell in love with it.
I come between two to four times a week.
Recommend it, it's a great place.
So City Steam, talk to me about the history.
We became City Steam in '97.
This place is huge.
It is.
And you can tell it's an old building.
Yep.
What was it built, like the late 1800s, I'm assuming?
Production completed in 1877.
So Hannah, I gotta ask you, is it haunted?
A little bit.
It is.
Just a little bit.
I don't know why we're whispering.
It's okay.
Talk to me about a little bit about that.
There's this little girl haunting the building. She'll turn on faucets and close doors and...
Wait, in this room we're in right now?
No, not in, well, the general first, like the general top floor.
Did she die here?
But I know she died in the building.
Oh my God, I can't. I can't do it. I'm getting scared. Let's change the topic. Yeah, let's talk about the fresh beer here. How does that work? Because you're a restaurant and a brewery at the same time.
Yep.
And they sort of intertwine with each other.
They do. Our brewmaster here is here about 5-6 days a week. So far, since he's been here since March, has produced 27 beers.
I am the brewmaster at City Steam Brewery.
Brewmaster, what does that mean?
Brewmaster is the title that someone gets when they're in charge of all the operations within a brewpub or a brewery. So everything from brewing the beer, cleaning tanks, kegs, everything has to do with the brewmaster's responsibility.
Any and everything beer, that's you.
Exactly.
Now, do you also love drinking beer?
Of course. I think I do that better than brewing beer.
Ah, and what goes into making a batch of beer? How does this work?
It definitely starts with an idea, a flavor, or a profile we want to accomplish, the actual process of mashing and making the beer, and then the final stages that come down here in the fermentation. There's a whole bunch of things.
So you're sort of like a scientist down here, for
yeah,
lack of a better term.
Mad,
alchemy.
Mad
you're
scientist.
making alchemy.
Yeah.
Do you come up with ideas? How does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here at City Steam, we do have a handful of core brands. We have about 4 or 5 of them that we keep on all the time, Naughty Nurse IPA, and a couple others. But right now we have 17 beers on draft, and all the rest of them are my creations.
All right, so I say enough talking. I want to see how beer's made, and also I want to drink it. So can we go do that?
I agree, Mike. Before you do, though, you got to wear the official brewery shirt here at City Steam. Since it's a nurse, we like to call it the uniform. So
I'm gonna be a naughty nurse while I make beer.
Suit up.
All right, fair enough. I'm gonna put this on. Let's go back and see what happens here. I'm excited. Beer!
So here we have some grain. So basically this is going to be the barley once it's gone through the malting process.
This is where beer starts, right in your hand.
Exactly.
Comes from grain.
Here I have our hops. Hops are basically a flowering bud that grows on what's called a vine, not a vine. It's in the same family as marijuana.
Hey.
So basically it's a flowering bud and it looks very similar to marijuana actually.
Ooh, it's got a, oh, that's crazy. So I've never seen this, hops, just in that form.
Yep.
You smell it and it almost smells like a beer
Exactly.
And it looks like rabbit food.
Yeah, well what happens is it's a flowering bud and it looks pretty when it's on the vine, but for us to use in systems, it's not the most efficient way. So what they do is they pelletize them. So they take those buds and they shove them through little screens and we get these.
So now we take this and we're going back upstairs. We're gonna put them in the giant vats and we're gonna create beer.
That's right.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got here?
This is where we start the whole process. This is where my day begins. This is what we know in the industry as the brew house. It's all gonna start in this vessel right here, which is our mash tun. All the crushed grain and hot water will mix up in here. During that process, the enzymes in the grain convert the starches into sugars. And then
the pH balance will really affect the catalyst of the chemistry.
Yeah. I was hoping you're not gonna ask me any chemistry questions. Then we'll start filling up this kettle. Our whole system is fired off of steam, and it's definitely the best way to boil liquid because it's hitting on all fronts, not just firing from the bottom. We'll bring this puppy up to a boil, and at this point in time, depending on what we're brewing, is when we'll add our hops If we're doing a spiced beer, there may be some spices that go in here.
Well, we've seen the process upstairs. We're now back in the basement. I see a lot of things here. What's going on down here?
Here you'll see some of our fermenters. Once the beer comes down here is when we add our yeast.
Why add yeast? What does that do?
The yeast is the organism that's actually going to eat the sugars that we made during the mashing process. And what yeast does is it metabolizes these sugars into alcohol and carbon dioxide.
Okay. So yeast, fermentation, booze.
Booze.
That's all I need to remember.
Exactly.
How many beers are in this tank?
Oh
pint,
boy,
pint-wise.
there's got to be 3,000 plus pints.
3,000 beers? Now what's going on over here? Because I see a bucket.
And right now what you're seeing is the fermentation process actually happening. What you're seeing bubbling out is actually carbon dioxide because the yeast is doing its job.
Oh wow, look at this room.
Might be a little noisy in here.
What?
But when the beer is all done fermenting, we'll then transfer it into the serving room. The beer will never see the light of day. It'll go from one tank to these tanks and then up to the taps.
Well, so now that we've seen how beer is made, it's my favorite part. Can we test out some of these beers?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not gonna get in trouble?
No, I've been waiting.
All right, let's try these out. Let's go. What do you want to show me first? I am at your mercy, Brewmaster.
We're gonna fire off some Naughty Nurses.
Naughty Nurse IPA is my favorite.
The Naughty Nurse?
Naughty Nurse especially.
Let's see if I can remember how to pour a beer correctly. From what I learned, you gotta tilt the glass.
That's right.
And you really just wanna not have foam. So you go like, oh, I'm doing well, Sam. And go right up. Oop, I made a little bit of a mess, but
Perfect.
that's
a
not
nice
bad.
pour.
Can I try it?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yes. Beer, here we go. Ooh, that's good.
Not bad, right?
What am I tasting?
A little caramelly, a little malty flavor.
Yeah, the malt's in it.
Very easy drinking beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Probably the beer I'm most proud of, what I call Brazzi Pilsner.
A Brazzi Pilsner.
Yeah, named after Luca Balu Brazzi from the Godfather movies. It is a Czech-style Pilsner. Very light in body, light in color, but big on flavor, and there's a noticeable hop presence from the traditional Saaz hops used.
That went right over my head, but I got beer in my hand. So let's try this out. Here we go. Cheers. Ooh, I really like that one.
Yeah,
it is
it's nice.
hoppy. And you came up with this flavor.
That's mine, yep.
High five, brother.
Right.
Look at
High
that.
five to that.
You are the brewmaster right here. Wow.
We love the beer.
After finding out how delicious their beers are, I think I might stay.
We take mostly like the Nurse or the Colt 46 to cook with, and some of our dishes like our Colt 46 chicken, and sometimes do beer battered fish and chips.
We've seen how beer's made, which was awesome. I got to drink it. But now we're here with line cook JR.
Hello.
He is going to show us how to use the beer and make a delicious meal. What are we making today?
Making fish chips.
Fish and chips, my absolute favorite. So, let's see how this is done. Safety first. We've got to put the ingredients in. What's going on over here? What do you got?
We're gonna add egg,
Egg,
sugar,
sugar, salt.
white powder,
Okay.
tobacco sauce.
Can I add this one just
Yep.
for fun? Baking soda. All right, we add that in. Do a little whipping.
Yep.
What kind of beer is
Colt.
this? Colt 46. We're dumping this in the big bowl. Let's see. So now we're adding flour. This again is going to be the batter of the fried fish. Now, has the alcohol been taken out yet? Or if I drink this, would I get drunk?
Good question.
That is a good question. Shall we test it out? No, I'm just kidding. What do you think it is about adding beer to batter? Why do that? I mean, who came up with that idea? I'm just gonna add beer to batter.
I don't know, but it's pretty good. It just has this little tingly taste.
Tingly taste, I like that.
It gives a nice malty flavor to it.
Actually, that's not bad. We've got our fresh Atlantic cod, we've got our chilled beer batter. What do we do now?
Now we take 3 pieces, drop it in flour,
Okay.
drop it in the beer. Then once it's done,
Now you put it in the fryer.
yep,
Let's see if I can do it. Just a little twist of hope and wonder. So it doesn't stick, and then you just lightly drop it.
Yeah.
Did I do it right?
Yep.
I did it.
Now
Ooh,
we
those
just-
already look good. Golden brown is the way it should look.
once it's done, you want to take it out,
Uh-huh.
put on a pan, so the oil could drain a little bit more.
Okay, so we've got the Sidewinder fries right here. Beer batter just like the fresh fish. And now we're putting the fish on the plate and then it's
Yeah.
going in my mouth.
Let's try a piece out of this.
All right.
There you go. I don't really like tartar, so I'm just going to eat it without the tartar.
I do, so I'm going to slather it in it. Mmm. Holy cow.
And you have that tingly taste.
Exactly, the tingly taste in your mouth after you eat it is absolutely amazing. Holy moly. JR, I come down to you, my liege. It was amazing.
That's fantastic.
Great. We haven't had a bad experience yet.
They've all been super welcoming.
Normally at the end of the show, I say just eat it, but right now, just drink it. See you next time.
Be well and drink more beer.